This is the Evolution Fury 3S sliding mitre saw. This machine can cut wood, metal or plastic with the supplied blade. It actually has a 300mm depth of cut which you can cut on the slide. You can also do bevel cuts with this, and you can quite easily do mitre cuts with this. This machine is aimed at the DIY market, and it is approximately £100 for this machine. And I have to tell you that at that price this machine is an absolute bargain. For the home user, this machine will do the majority of the jobs that you will ever need to do at home. I've actually attached this machine to the Evolution brackets because I'm going to actually demonstrate this on the Evolution leg stand. But we're just going to take a look at some of the features of the machine. You can mitre to 45 degrees in either direction, which is very useful. The machine also has a laser which can be switched on just the top there. The laser can be useful for some people, although I have to admit I never actually use the laser. We also have a movable fence at one side. That is because this machine bevels. We can bevel it in one direction only. If you undo the leaf at the back there, you can actually bevel that over from 0 to 45 degrees for when you're doing longer mitre cuts. At the top there we have a dust extraction port where you can put a bag to collect the dust if you're cutting wood. Although I do have to admit that I prefer to put the vacuum cleaner on there, or a dust extraction unit. That will remove a lot more of the dust. We have a lockdown pin which locks down the head, which makes it easier to transport. And also we have a depth stop, which is very useful if you need to do any trenching or any grooving. You can do that quite easily by setting the blade depth using that. You can also quite easily activate and deactivate that function just by flicking that lever out of the way. The machine does come with a couple of material supports for if you are cutting longer pieces of material. We also have replaceable brushes on this machine. They can be undone quite easily with a slotted screwdriver. And also we have a spindle lock. You can press that in, that will lock the blade whilst you change the blade. We also have this work clamp, and that can be moved to either side of the machine. I think I've mentioned all the features of the machine there. We're now going to put this onto the leg stand, hook it up to the vacuum cleaner, and we're going to cut some test pieces. This is a piece of 8x2 timber. This is the kind of thing you would use if you were doing a large decking project at home. You will also notice that this is nail embedded. So we're going to do a very simple cut using this, and we're just going to do what is called a sliding cross cut. So as you can see, it's cut through that absolutely no problem at all. It's cut through it very quickly and very cleanly. A lot of people ask me if these machines are accurate and if they can cut squarely. The answer to that is yes, although you may have to make a few adjustments when you get it because it could have been knocked about during transit. But just to prove it to you, that is a square, and you can see that that piece of material is completely square. You would have absolutely no problem at all using that on any kind of job. We're now going to cross cut a piece of plywood, and we'll see just how well it cuts that. This is virtually the maximum width of material that this machine can cut. Again, that's given us a nice clean cut. We're going to try cutting these two pieces at 45 degrees now, and we'll see what kind of joint we get once we've cut them both at 45 degrees. This machine will only bevel in one direction, so it will mean that if you're cutting skirting boards, you will need to swap the workpiece the opposite way around. So that is the two pieces that I've just cut on the bevel cut, and you can see that they actually match up perfectly. Obviously this machine will cut decking boards for fun. It will also cut 4x2 for fun. As well as cutting wood, this machine can also cut aluminium and steel using the same blade. We're now going to cut this piece of 6mm aluminium checker plate. As you can see, it cut through that absolutely no problem at all. I have to say that these machines are one of the best machines you can actually use for cutting aluminium at home. They really are very good at doing it. It's got a tiny burr there, but that's just broke off. So it does give you an extremely clean cut on aluminium. This machine will also cut steel. The recommended maximum thickness is 3mm. Unfortunately I don't have any 3mm, but I do have some 5mm. So we're just going to cut through this just to demonstrate how versatile these machines are. As you can see, it's cut through that piece of mild steel, absolutely no problem at all, and the metal is cold to the touch. If I had to pick a fault with this machine, I would say that the lead could do with being a little bit longer, and also it's not the most flexible of materials. But apart from that tiny point, the machine is absolutely superb. Anybody that's doing any DIY who's looking for a sliding mitre saw, you really cannot go wrong with one of these. These are an absolutely fantastic machine for the money. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel.